Hello, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit more different than what we normally do. So we're still going to be commentating over a match, but instead of my matches or my games, I'm going to be commentating over the YCS Anaheim Round 5 feature match between Alejandro M and Mackie C. Of course, we are doing this because for once Spright was actually featured, which is always interesting to see. I believe, and I haven't really gotten a spoiler yet, but I don't think that any of these Spright players made it into, however few there were, didn't make it into the top 32, which is fine. I mean, like, the decks, I guess, fighting against a much stronger force of meta stuff, including the new crossover breakers decks, including the Ryzeal and Banlist decks. And then, of course, there's still the Fiendsmith, U-Bell stuff. There's still the Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, whatever. On the side, we're going to be also mentioning the Banlist. So I don't want to spend too much time on it, which is why I'm kind of like joining it into one video. So the Banlist also dropped right after Anaheim finished, after the finals, after Triff. And congratulations to him, won the YCS. And the Banlist, let me just pull it up on the side quickly so you guys can see as well. I'm sure many of you would have seen it, if not all of you by now. So on the Forbidden list, we have Puppet, which is about time, right? Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, of course. And then Jalgan, the Spiritualist, and OSS. So OSS finally shutting down those Snake Eye decks a little bit better than, you know, those limiting hits. So a ban on OSS is something that I think will definitely be quite impactful in terms of just the Snake Eye stuff. So no touches to Fiendsmith, of course, but the Nightmare, this is long overdue. And then we have Jalgan the Spiritualist, who, you know, it's another floodgate. No one likes them. But I think just simply banning Albion would fix so many things. Like, Albion itself is a fun card, but if you're going to ban every single other card that locks around it, for example, Ra's Disciple, and then they're also going to be using, like, Edo to lock instead, like, they're just unfun cards to play against. Limited, unfortunate to see no Elf there, but also kind of expecting to not see Elf if, well, I say for a long time, if at all. We have Chandra limited now, U-Bell, the Phantom of U-Bell limited, Sengen Kaiman, so completely destroying Tenpai as a deck, and Zodiac Barrage. I hate Tenpai myself because it's just like, oh, board break, swing for game, not much interactions, not much in the form of interactions, but yeah. Zodiac Barrage, I don't know what it's going to do, to be honest, but hopefully not too much. Cyberjar, Jackalope, Tsuchinoko, Eva, and Monkey Ball being semi-limited. I feel like a lot of those don't really matter too much. Maybe just the danger stuff. And then we have in the Unlim section, Pank is at 3, Genlin like Tiger. All the Dragon Rulers, Elith is at 3, Colossus at 3, Ib, and Opening. I think with the U-Bell, Phantom U-Bell hit, opening to 3 doesn't matter too much, and they still equally lose as hard to like the main deck Molcharmies. And I intend to do a video on the upcoming format against now what we're going to be assuming to be like the main 2 power decks, right? Ryzeal and Malice. That's how Konami's going to sell the set. They're going to hit everything else until the remaining 2 are those 2 contenders for the very top spot. And I think we as a Spright player prefer a less diverse format just because we'll have the better chance to win by siding in or just putting into the main deck better cards against them in general. And I intend to make a video on potentially just like board breakers or just, I guess not a deck list per se, but like a deck idea maybe. Like some cards I want to put in, some cards I want to take out. Yeah, okay, that's enough rambling. Let's go and watch the round 5 feature match. I'm gonna share that up on the screen right now. Let me just hit record on screen. And apologies for the delay in videos. I've just been so busy with work and life. It's just quite difficult. Okay, hopefully you can hear me over the commentary. Otherwise, I'll turn it down. Shout out to Jack for pointing this out as well. He messaged me straight and was like, Spright. And I was like, okay, does Spright get support? I was really excited, but just a feature match.
Number 1, I'm excited to see which
So Alejandro rolling an 8, Mackie rolling a 4, yeah. Let me just turn the volume down a little bit more so we don't get overwhelmed with the sources of sound. So I haven't actually watched this yet. This will be like a reaction video, if anything. That's a Perulia, QCR Perulia, dropped by Mackie, which of course hurts the Spright stuff in hand quite a lot. And like it's Ash, that's good. So Alejandro's going to go first. Starting off with, and it looks like Mackie's playing Fiendsmith. I don't know which variant. There's Fenrir, okay. Fenrir's going to search first, okay. Deck's upside down as well. I feel like Fenrir searching first always feels a bit weird to me because it's very, it's a little risky, right? If it's a draw-heavy format, the searching just doesn't seem right because then you just cuck yourself of, for example, Jet or your double cross or smashes or whatever you're playing, as well as the ice barrier cards. I don't know if he's playing like the Swap Frog variants. I'm assuming so because it's the best variant out there by far, in my opinion. And also, you're at best baiting like an Ash or an Imperm, right? Once you reach the later stages of like a big tournament, everyone kind of has an idea of what you're playing and maybe like roughly what your list looks like. I don't think anyone is going to look at your deck and gonna go, and they're gonna go like, oh, you know, we've got to hit Fenrir. So I don't think it's worth the Ash or the Imperm unless you're playing in like the early rounds of a locals or regional where people don't really know what you're playing. Maybe they'll hit the Fenrir, but even then it's not that good. So I don't think it's worth it. Just in case they're running draw. So normal Beaver, summon Angler.
I was just about to say, I really did like that variation of the adventure deck.
And he's going to overlay here, so getting out the Gigantic before 5 is always good, just to protect from Nib. Attempt at the effect there. And that gets ashed. So I can see a Talent in his hand. I would probably just Talent Rip here just to double check, make sure he doesn't have anything else. I think I also see a Carrot in his hand, but I'm not sure if I'm looking at that correctly. Can't see the other monster. 2 Unicorns and Engraver on the side of Mackie. So I think it's easily just Engraver here. We can basically just Melfi the 2 Unicorns, and he won't be able to do anything. He specials the Unicorn, we bounce back the Caddy, search for... You could honestly search for even another Beaver, although you're probably linking to Sprint soon. So maybe just like a Penny for a body. You don't even have to commit to the Herald, so you can Xyz the next turn. And then the Melfi of the Forest can lock the Unicorn. This is like something that came up quite often in Kash tier, and to be honest, just seeing the Unicorns, maybe it's like a Kash tier Fiendsmith mix. I don't know if there's like another engine splashed in there, but I feel like with just the Unicorns alone, it kind of reminds me of Kash tier, the Kash tier format when Arise Heart was legal. I feel like that time was a little bit weird because they could have access to Diablosis, which could, you know, rip a card from your extra deck, so it kind of forced 2 ofs in your ratios in the extra deck. So that was the only weird part of it, but I feel like everything else is actually quite manageable in hindsight. Like you have a macro that once per turn pops and it also just attaches. Like the attaching part doesn't matter too much, but with so many board breaker options, like you can just pop it or take it or something like that and then make a Zeus maybe, or even just go for game straight up. I feel like looking back, it's always funny to kind of think about how you could have built better decks using your original deck. For example, T, I feel like maining Shifter would have always been good, but I honestly never thought to do it. And right now, obviously, looking back at the Kash stuff, I did play Talents, but I feel like even Dark Hole, Raigeki, whatever, because I remember there was like also a time where they played Ibli to try and lock you.
Alejandro already making moves in a big way here. We talked about all.
And we're going to link 2, yep, into Sprint, probably setting up the Melfi stuff.
Now we're going to see a link summon for, yes, Sprint. So this
Sprint is going to dump. There he is going to flip the deck the right way around. Summoning Manta. Okay. So he's playing Manta as well. Shout out to David for playing Manta. I don't know how I feel about Manta. I feel like it's not worth the spot, but okay. Okay, Mannequin, sure. So Mannequin effectively does the same thing, except he allows the opponent to crash in during the battle phase to then clear his board. Summoning an Ash, I guess to potentially stop anything else from coming out from his deck. So we're kind of trading a soft lock in case he hard draws an out. So he's going to target to special a red or carrot. There's the carrot from the deck after targeting the Ash.
Spright carrot is going to be a fire monster that he can summon, so now he has access to a spell and trap negate.
We know he has another Fenrir in hand, so I'm curious what the last.
That's one, and oh yeah, it's Fenrir, of course. The last card in hand is Fenrir, like the commentator just said. I completely forgot that he searched as the very first move.
He knows his hand is two Kashira unicorns. Beautiful.
Commentators love it.
What is going to happen here is he would have to attack the Ash.
Depends on what Mackie draws. I think I personally would have still preferred the I don't know, because even if he does crash with the Ash to try and special the unicorn, and also swinging to the Mannequin for some reason, should have swung to the Sprint because Sprint is just lower attack, so you take 600 less. You can get the Fenrir back when they summon unicorn as well with Mannequin. So this is main phase 2. Mannequin's going to target the unicorn to special. No wind main deck targets, so it's probably just Fenrir. Yep, from the graveyard. I'm going to mute this now because it's a bit distracting. But yeah, Fenrir's back. They don't have their battle phase. Unicorn can rip, but Fenrir then just banishes the unicorn face down if he wants to. But also, I don't really see a point in doing so because he has another one in hand. And he's gonna, okay, I'm assuming unicorn effect to either rip or search, and that's gonna be met with droplet, discarding the Fenrir for cost. And this is something I mentioned in the past as well. I feel like droplet and super poly, although they discard /send /whatever, like you neg cards, you don't really neg because you cycle your hand back through with the Fenrir, which is why I personally liked it. But I'm still on the fence. I'm kind of wanting to pick the Fenrirs back up now, to be honest. I cut it from my deck momentarily, but it looks like it's not going to be hit by the ban list because, well, they want to include it in Bonanza, and we know that there's an imperm. They didn't hit it this time. And it's because I drew so many, like, bad hands, bricky hands of, like, a double Fenrir, for example. Okay, so next turn, he draws imperm for turn. He's looking at the Mannequin, so he's going to use Mannequin effect, attaching the Beaver for cost, targeting the Ash to reborn, to summon another red, or a red. Mannequin's going to target... Is that Sprint effect?
To return the unicorn back to his hand.
You can't sprint without detaching another material off an Xyz, so that was illegal. Don't know if the judges are going to catch that. He's going to overlay into a big, gigantic Mannequin. Already detached both its materials to summon Ash twice from the graveyard. Actually, he didn't get... okay, so he summoned the Ash back and then detached off Mannequin to bounce back the unicorn. Sure. I feel like that probably honestly wasn't necessary, but it seems fine. Maybe he just didn't want the deck rip because he wanted to guarantee the gigantic, which is fair enough. Sure. And he specials the blue into the jet, into the gamma burst, which is more than enough for game, and that is game 1. Alright, we are going to skip forward a bit. I'm going to try and not spoil it for myself. Okay, deciding. Okay, here's game 2. Judgment on the right hand side. So Mackie's obviously going to go first. I see another trap and a spell and a monster. Can't really make out what they are exactly. And Is that also Perulia? That's also Perulia on Alejandro's side. Starting off with Pressure Planet in the main monster zone. There we go, moved over to the left. To search, that goes through. Searching for either Fenrir or Unicorn. For Unicorn. Unicorn's going to special. And he draws one from for Perulia. So Perulia against this deck. I guess of the normals and the unicorns, it's not terrible. We get like a 1 or 2. If he searches like Birth, then he can draw one more if he chooses to normal summon another 7, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's the Birth. They play Theosis as well, right? Like Theosis would be pretty good here just to get a Fenrir on field. So I guess not. And this is because I haven't really been playing too much. Like I said, it's Judgment and something else. But I'm guessing they only run Birth and Unicorn. Not even Fenrir. Birth has the benefit of banishing as well. I don't really understand, to be honest. Maybe it's just like the deck rip. Fenrir, well, the package would also include the field spell. Fenrir specialed against Alejandro, drew one, good on him. Nothing on special. He's going to normal summon. Normal summon Iperia. Okay, Iperia lets you draw one, on summon, any sort of a summon, and it is a hard once per turn that will get judgmented, fair enough, in case he has like another 2 in hand, another Spright. Also interesting that he didn't start with the Fenrir search this time, but he did it in the last game.
Really interesting. It looks like he might have a copy of Talents in his hand, and he just asked if there was, anything afterwards.
And that gets met with Imperm, sure. So he's betted out all the follow-up. I see 2 spells, one's Talents, and he hasn't used any monster effects yet. So there's a starter. If he does Ash it turns on the Talents, but like, to be honest, I think he'd prefer just being able to resolve starter. And there's the blue. Blue is going to search, take 1/1. And Unicorn can resolve safely here. I'd probably just dump Sprint if I was Mackie, but if you respect the Talents enough, then obviously you can just hold. Birth is going to banish the 3 cards in Graveyard because he activated a spell being starter. And blue Chainlink 1 is going to search Jet. So he judgmented. He doesn't even need to get Gamma Burst here. Maybe starter for next turn in case anything goes awry. Special the Jet effect to search. But I guess this also just guarantees the game. Like, you can literally just go battle phase now. The Unicorn will be on 1, 2, 3 types. It'll be on 28. Okay, actually, you can't swing over yet. Unicorn's gonna rip. Okay, fair enough. Ripping a Mosquito. Yeah, okay. Because he has 2 Gigantics, there's no point in ripping 1. And there's the Talents to then take the monster, and that should be game. So under 5 summons, so obviously Nib is going to be irrelevant. And it's a clean 2-0 for Alejandro unless he misplays and summons more. Maybe into Nib. That's battle phase, 24.
Impermanence check.
Yeah, no, the Sprite starter was not activated in the same.
And Gamma Burst. Okay. That's game. So, good job to Alejandro. Thank you for showing us a nice Sprite game on the featured screen. I wish to see more featured games for Spright on screen. Hopefully next format will show us a bit more of like a player base, more of like a Spright player base. Yeah. Okay, that's going to be it for today, though. I will try and get that video out ASAP, and I know I also promised the Mo Charmy videos. I also need to get those out, but I also need to practice, and with work, it's just been a bit tough, but I'll do my best, okay? I'll see you guys next time. Laters.